In Romans 1 to 11, Paul has been unpacking the gospel of grace, a gospel where humanity has rebelled against God, but God has graciously given his Son. All of his grace, not because of our works, but because of his loving kindness, that he has a plan for us to transform us bit by bit, little by little, that not even death can stop his plan, that we are more than conquerors. All of this, Paul says, ought to humble us, right? We ought to be humble because of that, because we know there's no room to say that we're any better than anybody else. All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, Paul has said in Romans. When we think of God's grace, when we think of the gospel, of his sending his Son, there's no room for pride, is there? There's no room for arrogance, because it's our sin that has caused that. The gospel is all about God's grace, how great he is, not how great we are. And when we consider those things, we are, in verse 3, to consider ourselves with sober judgment. We know that we're not big shots. And therefore, a true appreciation of the gospel, a church which loves the Bible, which loves Bible teaching, therefore ought to be a humble church. Because as we read of God's kindness, of his grace, we're humbled by that, aren't we? No room for pride. It leads to an appreciation of how great God is and how low we are in comparison. A church which loves the Bible and loves the gospel ought to be a humble church, ought to regard ourselves with sober judgment.